Good evening, Razorback Nation. Welcome into Hawgs on the Hill, episode 45, your go-to podcast for an in-depth dive into all things Arkansas sports. Join us as we dissect the victories, analyze the plays, and revel in the spirit of the Hogs. As always, episode 45 is brought to you by Homefield. You can step into the legacy of collegiate style with Homefield's premium vintage apparel, embrace the spirit of your alma mater, or even your favorite team with their meticulously crafted, comfortable, stylish collections. Elevate your game day attire and celebrate the rich history of college sports. Homefield, where tradition meets modern comfort in every stitch. You can use that promo code Variety Sports in all caps to receive 15% off that first order. Go check them out today for all your Razorback needs. And man, it's a weird feeling. Arkansas basketball is kind of done for the season now. Baseball's rolling. Transfer portal action is going on, but not necessarily a ton for Arkansas. We'll get into that in a minute. Softball still rolling. You got gymnastics competing in their regional as we're live right now. But things are kind of slow down a little bit for Razorback Nation. You've got some NFL combine action and draft coming up here real soon, with some Arkansas Razorbacks expected to be drafted as well. So let's go ahead and dive in. Not a ton to talk about on the transfer portal front. The biggest news Arkansas Razorbacks have is that Big Z entered the transfer portal. That's one I wasn't maybe necessarily expecting, but with his struggles and up and down of a season, and kind of maybe Cal wanting to get to the next level, I don't know if he necessarily saw Big Z being able to get there and do what this team needs to do. But then, shortly after he entered the transfer portal, you saw him get a crystal ball pretty quickly for Illinois, which makes sense for him to go play with his brother. And that's probably something, I would assume had to factor into it, is he wanted to play with his brother one way or another. And maybe his brother didn't want to come here. And he is like, well, I can go there. Maybe I'm not going to get enough playing time next year for Arkansas, depending on who they bring in, which is still TBA. So your guys' initial thoughts with Big Z deciding to enter the transfer portal. He's kind of a guy on my list that I, had, I would say 95% confidence that he would be back.
Yeah, I was there with you because out of everybody, if you would have said you only had to stake your life on one person who's not going to leave, that's probably who I would have done it with, just because of the loyalty he had with Coach Cal. And this could have been, like you said, a mutual thing. Maybe he's trying to go for someone that's a little bit more of a true big. Even though, I see the potential that Big Z has, but I don't know if he's still a little bit far away from being that true big that like his brother is. His brother is a little bit more physical, and maybe if he gets down up into Illinois, if he could, learn a little bit from little brother, I guess. I don't know, but. Yeah, it's a little disappointing though, being as he can be that potential electric type guy, like a dominant player. I mean, he showed it a few times this year with back-to-back 20-point games, but he relies a little bit too much on the three, and he also is a little bit lacking in defense, although he still led the team in blocks, and he probably would have had much more if he got more playing time towards the end of the season. But Jonas Adu, Trevin Brazil were doing better than he was. So he just lost that time. And it sucks. But I'm really curious to who they're gonna bring in, because right now it's Trevin Brazil. That's all they have in the front court. So yeah, they need to start something else needs to start happening in the transfer portal, or people are going to start freaking out for real.
Austin, when did our season end?
Hey, look,
is the college basketball season still happening right now as we speak?
Well, yes, but I'm just saying that I have no idea. Whenever everybody that I see that comes out of the names pop up, a lot of them are these, at most a 6'9" guy, but there's not any bigs. I know that he's played with Oscar Shibwe, who's 6'8", 6'9",
which was the best rebounder I've ever seen Cal have.
Well, that's true, But I still see a lot of guards, and the thing is, we're guard heavy. We're going to be guard heavy next year, so I'm a little worried about that front. Like I don't hear any rumors. I don't hear anything going around. But there is one guy. What's his name?
Are you talking about the guy from UAB?
No, the guy from Arizona State. He was
that guy. Yeah.
Oh, Jaden Quintons.
Quintons, yeah. The last name throws me off because it doesn't look like it. It looks like it's more complicated than Quintons. But he entered the portal, so maybe that he can sway him back over towards Cal. But yeah, I'm still like one person at this point in the season. It's not bad, but if there's not any kind of rumors, at least in 2 weeks or so, then I'm gonna get a little worried.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the biggest thing is waiting for announcements from these returning guys. And I know that was Cal's biggest thing is, you heard him say it in the press conference after the loss to Texas Tech was that, before starting to contact guys in the transfer portal, he was going to sit down with his team and figure out who's coming back, who's leaving, before even starting to contact guys. So, that conversation's probably already happened. Maybe these guys some of them are still deciding. I know there's been stuff thrown out there in the last few days about potentially Theo returning, with the right NIL deal and with his draft grade not being so great. Potentially Boogie, but I think I really truly feel that he's going to be gone. Theo might be going through the draft process and not hiring an agent and remaining eligible in case he doesn't get the right information back. To Austin's point earlier, you got Trevor in Brazil that at this point, you really hope you get him back to keep some continuity to the team, but also as a depth piece. Now, if he can play as consistently as he did down the stretch towards the end of the season, he could be vying for decent minutes or even 6 men off the bench potentially next season, depending on who you bring in. And then, there's the guys that I think for all intents and purposes, Arkansas fans are assuming are coming back with Carter Knox, Billy Richmond, and those guys. So we'll just have to see. Like we said, waiting for announcements. Hopefully we start getting those here soon towards the end of the week or weekend and into next week as, transfer portal is, rolling. But to Hobbs' point, the basketball season not officially over. You've still got 3 more games left this season.
Who's going to win it?
I've still got to go with my bracket and say Florida.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm feeling Duke. I thought they were frauds. I'll be honest with you. But now, what they did to Alabama wasn't nice. And Alabama can score, dude. So I don't know. I'll have to go with Duke. They look
it'd probably
legit.
be Duke and Florida in the championship game. So
yeah.
And either one.
Did Auburn and Florida play once or twice this year in the regular season?
Remember when those two were playing, I try not
once.
to even worry about it. I wouldn't watch them two if they were playing outside my door right now.
Oh. But Transplant Texas said Duke wins it. Cooper Flag is legit.
Cooper Flag is legit.
He is. But we talked about Big Z, potentially his brother coming here. We kind of nailed it on the head as far as, brothers wanting to play with each other, but it was the other way around. Once he went in the portal, I figured that was going to happen.
I was about to say that's probably an easy decision for him.
You got to be. You got to go if you're going to leave a place where you've been with the same coach for a couple of years and go out of your comfort zone. What better place to go to where your brother is? So,
right,
I would want to play with my brother.
Also, Illinois had a one of their other bigs that Arkansas was potentially in the running for. They ended up going to Michigan, enter the portal as well. So, you can see some Twin Towers action going on for Illinois next season. So that'll be something interesting to keep an eye on. But back to the transfer portal, like Transplant Texas said here, patience with the portal. Let's consider every player with eligibility coming back, unless told otherwise. Just if you would be needed from the portal. That's true. It's like we talked about with some of these guys.
Look, they're all guards. That's what I'm saying. They're all guards. They're gonna have to find somebody from the portal for the front court. I mean,
Look,
unless Nate,
I don't care how tall you are. If you can get me a rebound, that's what I care about. Because I just watched a 7-footer struggle to get rebounds all year. So if you're 6'9" and you can get up there and get physical and grab the board, that's what I care about.
Well, that's true too. Well, I mean, we had that until the end of the season with Theo.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, it's not that I wouldn't be appreciative of someone who's smaller coming in. It's just they need more than what they had this year, and now they're down to 1. So they need like 3 or 4 bigs from the portal.
Just coming.
Yeah.
Unless Nate Ament commits to Arkansas, then maybe I would say 3. Huh?
Even if that's the case, he's going to be playing the 4.
Yeah.
So you still need a true 5.
Yeah. So like if Theo stays and Brazil stays and then Ament stays, that's 3 4s.
And then you need to get
Brazil's
one big
not really
guy,
a 5.
like true big that can get down and bruise around the paint. I mean, if you just look at the according to 24/7 Sports, their I guess transfer portal big board, the number 1 overall transfer that they got in the portal is a guy that Arkansas has been linked with, the transfer from UAB that's a 6'9", 230 power forward, Yaxel Lindenborg. He's a guy that played well at UAB last season. And if you go down, he's the number 1 overall that's uncommitted. The one Austin mentioned on X or whatever you want to call it, the RJ Lewis, he's in the portal. I know he's testing the NBA waters as well, but again, that would be hilarious to see him head over to Arkansas after we eliminated him.
Yeah, that's another thing you got to wait for is all this NBA draft combine, all that stuff to be over with, because that's going to play a factor too on who comes back or not.
And here's the thing: we have no idea who they're actually talking to. I know that what's his name, Musselman, was very out in the open about everybody he was talking to, but you actually had no idea which ones they were really going after. I feel like Cal is completely the opposite, where he does it like in the shadows, more or less, like behind the scenes. Because there's some rumors that there were some players who entered with a like do not contact tag, and they were talking to Arkansas. So, and that stuff doesn't happen unless there's some kind of conversation, at least between like agents and Cal beforehand. So we actually have no idea. There could be guys that are playing for the national championship right now or on Saturday who Cal's in their ear talking to, at least through their agent. So I'm not going all crazy, Hobbs. I'm just saying. All right. And when I say I'm worried, that's when I'm like going to start like feeling it in my gut. I'm not going to start tweeting it out like,
what'll make you less worried?
Huh?
Watch this baseball team play. That'll get you distracted.
Look, every time I watch the baseball team play, they lose, okay? Or they start losing.
Would you watch 3 games this year?
No, they start losing. So, like, they start playing like crap when I watch them. And I turn it off and they win. I don't know what it is.
I don't know, man.
Say something.
But what do you call it? Yeah, here's the thing, though. I don't know what it is, but every single game I've been to in person, they've won. Like every sport, everything. So I'm just saying, if the U of A wants to give me like season tickets to everything, I will go.
Everything.
Like do that, pay me a stipend so I can, pay my bills and stuff. But they will win every time because I've never been to a game where they lost.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I know Arkansas has also been rumored to be in talks with the transfer from Kansas, the Flory Badunga that Arkansas played against. So he's a guy that's out there as well. Another one I saw, I was trying to figure out if so another one to keep your eye out that has ties to Cal. Aaron Bradshaw, that transferred from Kentucky to Ohio State, is back in the portal. He was a freshman for John Calipari, and he was one of Cal's biggest recruits. As a freshman, he played 13.8 minutes per game for Cal. He was a 5-star in that class, but he comes in. He's very similar size-wise to Big Z. He's 7'1". So, he's a guy that, maybe Cal can go after, has that relationship with, could bring him in to, kind of help shore up that front court.
That would be good. I mean, like one true big guy that'll at least, save my worries. I feel, but and let's just say, like, if they do bring everybody back, right? So let's say on the off chance that Boogie Flan actually stays and Adu Thero actually stays, and everybody who can stay will stay. I mean, let's just talk about in this day in age of, college sports, how an amazing feat that would be if Cal were to do that.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Because it doesn't happen. Well, one, I mean, obviously we got the chicken man over at Tyson's paying the bill for a lot of this stuff. So that's one thing we're lucky to have. But two, I feel like Arkansas can compete with other schools money-wise. You just have to have the coach that creates those types of relationships. Because you can't tell me that there's not somebody in, Billy Richmond's ear and Carter Knox's ear saying, hey, we'll actually pay you more if you come this way. But that relationship with Cal that he's created with them, I think that's what's keeping a lot of these guys here. Because, I mean, money's money wherever you go. Well, and we know that, like, at least like Billy Richmond, I don't know how much of a role he's going to have next year. I know he's going to get significant minutes, but I don't think he'll start. Not with the people who are coming in. So it's like he has the opportunity to go make just as much money somewhere else and start, but he's choosing to stay here with Cal. And I'm not saying that's the case somewhere, but I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if that was it. Like, I would actually be surprised if it weren't.
Right. Quick kind of breaking update for you guys on the Arkansas gymnastics front. Arkansas gymnast Frankie Price injured herself on the floor routine. So kind of getting updates as that goes, but hopefully she's okay and is able to, not have any serious injury there, as Arkansas was currently sitting in second place in their regional. So
I hate to hear that.
So how does that work? Because you're the gymnastics guy. If there's an injury, does the next person get to go in and redo that routine, or they just count that score?
Well, so for gymnastics, you count your 5 highest scores in each event. You have 6 of your athletes participate. Right. So you drop a score either way. So in this situation, I'd imagine that's what would happen, is that her score would probably be dropped, but hopefully everything's fine with her. So, but we'll keep you guys updated on that as more info continues to come in. But with that, like Transplant Texan said, as we kind of wrap up the transfer portal talk, Musk used buckshot recruiting in the portal, kind of the team's construction with suspect needs, lacking player chemistry, better, quick, good fit, needs met. We shall see. So He says, quiet portal movement by Cal doesn't help ease Hog fans' PTSD. We can create our own narrative, speculation, where there is none. Looking forward to hearing something maybe after the championship game. So that's the potential. So
Yeah.
as soon as we hear something, we'll let you guys know. But as of right now, all quiet on the transfer portal front other than, hearsay, if you will. In terms of women's basketball, there's a cool announcement today, as Arkansas hired this new coach from Oral Roberts. She got her first commitment today, and I would say it's a big one for Arkansas fans. Just in terms of you've got a legacy player headed to the Hill. Yvette Mayberry, yes. You're thinking of the right Mayberry. Lee Mayberry's daughter, who originally started her career at Tulsa 2 years ago, transferred to Kansas last season, played for them, is headed to Arkansas, and is going to put on that Razorback red.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a cool story overall, because I can't really think of, like, in basketball, at least, like legacy players coming back like that. And none that are like to the level that Lee Mayberry was to Arkansas. So, I mean, that just the name is going to bring people to the seats at least.
Yeah, it's big time for a team that was really bad last year. It's going to help, like you said, bring people to the seats, get a little bit of excitement in the building for the new year next year. But cool story regardless.
Yeah. I bet you'll get used to seeing a lot more Lee Mayberry back in Fayetteville, especially at the women's basketball games, to watch his daughter close to home. So it's going to be fun to watch that. As we kind of jump over, Arkansas baseball had their midweek game this week in North Little Rock. The television stream was a little suspect from what I heard. I was traveling during it, so I didn't get to necessarily tune into a lot of it as far as watching it. So, but Arkansas gets the win down in North Little Rock 7-4 over Grambling. 4 pitchers used in this game for Arkansas. Tate McGuire got the start in this one that we haven't necessarily seen get a midweek start this season yet.
I'm going to tell you why.
What?
I'm going to tell you why.
He went 4 innings, allowed 1 hit, 1 run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts on 59 pitches. You had Colin Fisher come in for an inning of relief, allowed 2 hits, 1 run. No walks, no strikeouts on 25 pitches. Dylan Carter came in for 2 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts for him on 37 pitches. And Cole Gibbler finished up the game with the final 2 innings. No hits, no runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts on 25 pitches.
Yeah, so Dave Van Horn, we got a few injury situations here. It's going to happen. It was bound to happen. So if you haven't noticed, Rocco Pepe, you haven't seen him in the lineup here lately. Apparently he has an injury that we didn't know about. He's on the injury report this week, so don't know when you'll see him again. He's a guy that I thought would be a key part of this offense. He actually started swinging the bat really a lot better before he got injured apparently, and so I don't know how long he's going to be out. If we see him anytime soon again. Gage Wood is not going to be pitching this weekend. Don't know when he'll be pitching, but it's got to be soon because Dave Van Horn says he's feeling good. But hopefully it's soon. I'd hate to see him get just thrown in the fire next weekend because that offense that Georgia has is absolutely deadly. And then we have Parker Cole, which was one of our best, not one of the best relief pitcher we had this season. It looks like he's out for an uncertain amount of time, but Dave Van Horn said he's not going to pitch at all this month and hopes to get him back in May. It's very unfortunate because Parker Cole, he didn't have the best 2 years, his first 2 years here, and then all of a sudden came out in the fall and was just striking everybody out on the, and pitched the best of any pitcher in the scrimmages, and then we get to the regular season, we see why he's just flat out nasty. So it's unfortunate to lose him, but the reason, to my point, was the reason you saw McGuire start is because Dave Van Horn wanted Fisher to come out of the bullpen. He wanted him to get used to coming out of the bullpen, because when he came out of the bullpen against, I think it was Ole Miss, I believe, he struggled. And I think it's because he was uncomfortable coming out of the bullpen. All he's done in his career at Arkansas is start games. So Dave wanted to see him come out and have a good outing out of the bullpen. Because we just lost a lefty in Park Cool. So the guys that are going to replace him are going to be Fisher and Gibbler. Gibbler has looked fantastic lately. Like I've been saying all along, this guy's for real. It's only a matter of time before he gets really going like he's capable of. And you've seen just glimpses of what he can do.
Yeah. No,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I said it first.
I was just going to say that's going to be some key pieces at Arkansas. Some of these other guys are going to have to step up, especially, with Gage Wood still not back and ready, with Parker Cole being out for, an extended period of time. Guys like Colin Fisher, Cole Gibbler, even, Tate McGuire, they're going to have to step up in some of these weekend series. And, that's going to be more innings potentially for Cole Gibbler, for Carson Wiggins, and, this is a chance where you need a guy like probably Christian Fauch to get going.
Mm-hmm.
And so hopefully, Arkansas's got a easier series this weekend to Transplant Texans. Point here is if we do play, no updates yet. As of now, I would say the weekend is expected to go on as planned, but they did cancel the Brew Pig Zoo that was scheduled for this weekend, and they moved it to the weekend of the Tennessee game. So
there's going to be a lot of beer drinking that weekend.
Oh, yeah. They combined it with a perfect game to get the Hog fans and the Hog Pen rowdy. And so that's not going to happen. So that kind of might be some foreshadowing to some potentially time changes. I know it's supposed to rain all day here tomorrow. Saturday, I don't think looks too bad. And then we were just talking before we jumped on here that earlier today, my weather app was telling me that we might have some potential snow on Sunday. So we will have to see what happens with the potential weather situation.
So you're not going to go a weekend without playing one game. I tell you that much. Missouri's not going to travel all the way here and just sit around and not play baseball. If there's an opening, if there's any kind of window, they will play. If it's on Saturday where you're saying there's an opening, they'll play 2 9-inning games back to back. With Sunday's weather, as long as it's not uncondoable conditions, they could play in light snow. It's not preferred, but it's just, it is what it is. But I mean, worst case scenario, we only get 2 in, but I mean, you hardly ever see. I haven't seen it since I've been keeping up with college sports. I've never seen just one game played on the weekend. You'll get 2 in at least.
Looking at the weather, so tomorrow, 100% chance of rain, high of 60. Saturday is going to be cold, high is 49 with a 100% chance of rain. Sunday, 45 with 57% chance of rain, snow mix. So,
they ever done a triple header?
No, it's illegal.
Is it?
Can't do it. Yeah, it is.
Huh. Look at that.
I wonder if there's the possibility if they could push a game to Monday.
That's also against the rules, and we were just talking about that before the show, the curfew thing. Unfortunately, SEC does not allow Monday games, and Dave Van Horn was actually talking about that in his presser today. He also mentioned that they're in contact with 2 weather guys and that they're going to make a decision. They're asking them to make a decision right now. They're like, look, I can't make a decision on the weather 2 days in advance. Like this is a hour for an hour hour by hour type thing. But he said they're probably talking. They're going to make a decision in the morning that they're more than likely will not play tomorrow. But yeah, the SEC doesn't allow Monday games, so it's unfortunate. I wish they could play one game today, but they've already got 2 other games going on right now. So another thing that they don't allow. So yeah, it's crazy.
That really puts a complication into the wrench of Arkansas baseball this weekend if there's some bad weather.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because it's just I hate that's the one unfortunate thing about baseball season is the weather can always play a factor, especially in April. You just never know what the weather forecast is going to look like. And it just is frustrating because, it'd be one thing. I think it would be an advantage if we were playing a good team, more than likely. But another thing is we're playing a really, really bad team, a team that's 0-9 in SEC. And, you can't have a normal weekend, of course. Everybody else has got to play Missouri, nice weather, score a bunch of runs on them, not have any issues. And then the moment we get to play them with our schedule, we get rain and snow. So just absolutely ridiculous. It's very frustrating. This team can't afford to have any kind of lumps or getting kind of a skid right now or not have the reps that they should have because the team we're playing next could end up winning the whole thing this year. They're that good.
Yeah. Quick update on Frankie Price for Arkansas Gymnastics. Arkansas did place second in this region, so they are moving on to Saturday. They are officially deeming Frankie to have a lower leg injury. She was having to be carried off the mat. And according to Jordan Weber in the post-meet media interview, they will be doing it for Frankie on Saturday per Coach Weber. So hopefully, it's not anything super significant for Frankie. And, because this was her last season and you hate to go out that way. So thoughts and prayers headed towards Frankie and Arkansas Gymnastics as they do move on, but it's not without a crucial blow to Arkansas's lineup there in Arkansas Gymnastics.
Yeah, I mean, you hate to see that. Any sport, any team, especially if they're seniors like that or if it's going to, that's going to be their last year. Yeah, there's no bueno.
Yeah, you hate to see that. I hope she recovers quick.
Yeah. And so, you kind of hit on it right there, Hobbs. I was going to say kind of a preview to this weekend, but we kind of summed it up already there is if we get to play, it's just a flat out terrible Missouri baseball team.
Yeah. I mean, they have some good hitters. I'm not going to act like they just are the worst team ever to live. I mean, they've got some really good hitters. Their best hitter is actually Lovich, who is his brother played here last year, but he's actually questionable for the weekend. I don't see why he wouldn't play if he's questionable. I'm pretty sure he's going to play, but it's they don't have the greatest pitching. They've had a couple good games pitching, but other than that, not really. But they do have some good hitters. So it's not a given that you're just going to beat Missouri and just go on about your day. You're going to have to earn it. So, but yeah, it's unfortunate that Mother Nature is going to play a factor in these games.
Yeah. And like you said, April can be tough like that. With that uncertainty on top of it just being Arkansas to begin with and how the weather is always changing in a sense of like the old adage I've always been told growing up is if you don't like the weather in Arkansas, wait 5 minutes and it's going to change. So,
you know what's even worse is that I'm looking at the weather right now, and it's supposed to be like mid to upper 70s, partly cloudy for the rest of next week and next weekend.
Of course.
Yeah, and
And we go to Georgia too, right? We don't even play them
we
here.
got a midweek game. I forgot who we play, but then
Arkansas State.
Okay, yeah, so Arkansas State, and then we go to Georgia. So, and then we come back home for A&M. So, I mean, it's just it's unfortunate that the weather's like this right now. And Dave did mention, hey, we've gotten some good weather, so it was bound to happen at some point, and here we are. So, but I will tell you this: they don't. Friday night, they could potentially wait around and start this game at 10 o'clock at night. Saturday, they could play as late as possible. It's Sunday that the curfew is what the problem is. Friday and Saturday, they can wait around as long as they want to play this game.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll just have to see what happens. We'll keep you guys up to date, as we'll probably figure that out tomorrow or even later this evening on what's going to happen. Quick update, or not quick update, but as we finish kind of recapping that midweek game Arkansas had, we talked about pitching. If we jump over to the offensive side things for Arkansas, Charles Davalin continues his hitting streak and continues to have great performances in that leadoff spot, going 2 for 5 with 2 runs scored. You have Vahiva Loy going 2 for 3 with 3 runs scored and RBI. Cahillo 2 for 4 with a run and RBI. Iredale gets an RBI, scores a run on 0 for 2. Carson Boyle's 1 for 3 with 3 RBIs. This team is continuing to hit up and down this lineup. Towards the end of the lineup, you hate to see it. Kendall Diggs 0 for 4 in this game. He's struggled mightily this season. You know, it looked like he was going to get it going a little bit at the beginning of the year, you know, finally getting that big home run in one of the non-conference games, but haven't really seen him in conference play. He's gotten to play in midweek opportunities, and then unfortunately doesn't get the opportunity to capitalize on those, going 0 for 4 on the day with 3 strikeouts. Gabe Frazier, 0 of 3. You even saw Michael Anderson get some action at first base, like you mentioned, with Pepe hurt. You know, that probably allowed him to get some playing time there, but unfortunately went 0 for 2 in this one. And then you had Cam Colesville come in and pinch hit as well. So, but that top of the order is still keeping it rolling.
Yeah, Davalin is unbelievable. Probably the hottest hitter in the country. Just incredible what he's doing. And then the Loy brothers continue to hit the ball hard. Iredale actually hit a couple balls that almost went over that almost were a home run, which is really impressive in a minor league ballpark. But they barely went foul. And then you have, you know, like you talked about Diggs. The most concerning thing about that is he wasn't striking out against hard pitching. These guys weren't throwing hard at all. So to see that is a little frustrating, you know, a little it's not even frustrating or you know, concerning at this point. It's just you feel bad for how his career is going after the start that he had. You know, had a lot of at-bats since freshman year and then had that incredible sophomore season. And then played through that injury last year, and he had the surgery, and he had, you know, the thing about having the surgery this offseason is he never had a time to really get in a groove or find it, because this roster, we're too loaded, and Dave Van Horn couldn't take the chance of not having guys that are capable to play, because that was the problem last year, and just couldn't afford to have that happen again. So it's unfortunate. He's still got about 5 midweek games left that you'll probably see him play in at least the majority of them, I would think. I mean, Dave is not going to just say, you know, screw it, Kendall, you're done. I mean, this kid's been fighting through it his whole career. Dave is going to give him an opportunity in the midweek games. He's not going to just throw him that SC play. There's no room for him right now. But he's going to give him a chance in those midweek games to get it together a little bit and maybe have a chance to pinch hit or spot start in the SEC play down the stretch. But other than that, that's about it for Diggs. I mean, I hope he gets it going at some point. Anytime Diggs comes up to bat, if you're not cheering for him, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. It's tough to see a guy like that that's been, 100% Arkansas Razorback his entire career, put it all out there. Like you said, has had a great sophomore season, comes back, expected to, excited to have a great junior year. And then, like you said, gets that injury midway through, tries to play through it. His play suffers a little bit, has that surgery in the offseason, comes back in his senior year, just like you said, with a loaded roster combined with not really getting to take on any live pitching right before the season starts. Just makes it a tough combination for a guy that, is a fan favorite. Everybody wants to see him succeed. And, for his senior year to be going like this, it's tough. So hopefully, like you said, with those midweek games left, he still gets the opportunity. He can kind of maybe get in a rhythm and get it going for Arkansas baseball. And heck, even if he gets the opportunity and they get some games this weekend, let him play against Missouri, get some SEC action under his belt as well, and if that's even possible. So, but it's hard to take any of those guys out of that lineup in the weekend, especially thinking Maxwell and.
Yeah, I go ahead and tell you, Dave Van Horn said in the press conference today he's not changing the lineup. So the SEC.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't fix what ain't broke.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not the starters. He said the starters are set in stone right now. All the guys, he said they play really well defense. They're all hitting the ball really good. And somebody also said, what's up with the stolen bases? Why haven't we seen a lot of them like you thought? He said, well, first of all, we're 4 for 4 in the SEC with stolen bases. And second of all, why would we need to steal a base if we're hitting the ball over your head?
Fair enough. That's the answer right there.
He's like, oh, that's funny.
But like Transplant Texan said here, though, talking about that game, the ESPN stream of that game made Flow Sports look top tier.
Now, Flow Sports is great. Like, as far as their like the look on the field, HD quality, top quality, they look good the stream wise. Now
it's the announcing and you having to pay for it.
That's why you got to pay for it. But Little Rock, first of all, last year was the first year you could ever watch a game in Little Rock. This was the first year they were ever able to stream it. It was a lot better last year. And you have Phil Ellison on the call last year too. This year they had the same thing. And whatever they did this year, it did not link up correctly. That center field camera was absolutely horrible. Every time, like, the broadcast would get clear, like with other cameras, and it would be working fine. And as soon as they would go to the center field camera wall, it just went crazy. And it was just horrible. And I was begging for, like, just turn the center field camera wall off and just start just behind home plate camera or whatever. And they just never did. They kept going to it, and it was bad. It was really bad. And I know a lot of people turned the game off from what I saw on Twitter. I'm never going to turn the game off. I watch it through anything. You ain't gonna mess with me and my Hogs, but it was hard to watch though. It really was.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? The whole thing about being loyal to your, finding a man who's loyal to his sports teams through thick and thin like that. Like, if you can stay loyal to Arkansas baseball through the dropped pop-up foul, and then all the, we know that Hobbs is a loyal guy. So anyway, I'm just trying to throw Hobbs out there for any single ladies. I don't know if
oh God,
I don't even know if you're married. You're not married, are you?
No, I'm not.
All right, so there you go. I don't feel bad about that now. There you go. I'm going to clip that one.
Oh man, that's funny right there. No comment on that one.
Hob, I'm into a hog pen near you.
Hey, yeah, I'm gonna be in the hog pen in a couple of weeks. You never know.
Yeah.
We got losing my train of thought here, guys.
Man.
Zach Root named SEC Pitcher of the Week this week for his great performances in SEC play last week. The one thing they talked talked to him about was, one of the pictures that was snapped of him smelling the ball before he would throw it.
Smelled a brand new baseball? It smells really good. I'm just saying. Now, I don't know if I would take it that far, but hey, if you're going to pitch like that, I don't care if you lick the ball. I don't care what you do with it. I'm good with
he was quoted with just saying, I liked how it smelled, so I just kept doing it. Some weird routines out there, and hey, like Hobbs said, if it keeps him pitching this well, then by all means, sniff the baseball all you want, buddy.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Someone's going to capitalize on it and start, buying scratch and sniff baseball, or start making scratch and sniff baseballs or something like that.
That, or you come up with baseball scented air fresheners.
I was thinking that too. Yeah, like the hang
brand new leather baseball smell. You have car smell, new baseball smell.
New baseball smell.
Yeah. That's just like I've been saying it for years. People need to come up with a fresh cut grass air freshener.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
But jumping to the other diamond, Arkansas softball is headed to sunny Florida this weekend, so they get to escape this gross Arkansas weather. Head down to Gainesville as they are going to take on the number 2 Florida Gators this weekend in a big series in the SEC. That's going to be a big-time matchup to see what our Arkansas hitters can do against that Florida Gator pitching. And then they'll stay in Florida an extra days. They're going to head from Gainesville to Jacksonville to take on North Florida as well. So a big-time matchup in the SEC for Arkansas softball as they're going on the road, taking on number 2. And I'll be interested to see, we had that game a few weeks ago against number 1. Hopefully maybe they took some things from that and can come back and capitalize. If you look at the standings right now, in conference play, Texas is sitting at 7-2 in conference play at the top. You have Oklahoma at 9-3, LSU 6-3, Texas A&M 6-3, Florida at 6-3. Arkansas is down here at 6-6 in conference play. And in the rankings this week, according to D1 softball, Florida number 2, Arkansas checks in at number 13, so still in the top 25, they're top 15. Still SEC dominated as far as top 25 goes. You got Texas 1, Florida 2, Oklahoma 3, Texas A&M 4, Tennessee 6, LSU 7, South Carolina 9, Arkansas 13, Mississippi State 15, Georgia 16, Ole Miss at 20, Alabama at 23, all taking over the rankings. Very similar to how Arkansas or SEC baseball normally is as well.
Yeah, I feel like SEC's just taking over everything. I mean, we knew that the SEC is the most dominant conference,
Hey, it just means more.
Right. But I mean, they are literally taking over just about everything. I mean, I don't know, like tennis or any of the smaller sports like that. But they already do it in track and field. They do it. I don't know about soccer. I know they're pretty decent in soccer, but I don't think they're at this level, obviously. But
I want to say a lot of ACC teams dominate
soccer. They are. But there's still like 5 or 6 really good SEC soccer teams. So and the thing is, Arkansas is one of them. Arkansas is probably one of the even though we've kind of had a couple off years, they're still one of the best programs in nearly every single sport except for football, which kills me, and women's basketball.
Yeah, Arkansas soccer is killer 100%. We have season tickets and we go, and they're fun to watch. What Kobe Hell's built here is amazing. The recruits he gets to come in, fantastic, and they're going to probably be primed for another great season next year. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we have some Arkansas baseball this weekend. Softball is going to be down in Florida. So, if unfortunately if there's delayed or whatever it is for Arkansas baseball, turn on some Arkansas softball and, watch that. Like we were talking about a while ago, Hobbs will be headed this way, coming in for that Texas A&M series, getting out of Mississippi and headed back to Fayetteville. So he'll be in town for that. We're going to have a live show at Parker's when he is going to be in town. So all three of us, the trio in person there. So we'll get more details to that as we get those things figured out. But it's going to be a fun next few weeks for the show and Arkansas sports.
Hopefully the weather's good, because if I come to Fayetteville and the weather's bad, I'm not gonna be a happy person.
Yeah.
At least you're out of Mississippi.
Why you gotta why is it so bad?
Okay, so we had this thing in college. We always said we would call someone we had a friend, his name was Grant, and we would call him our Mississippi. Because if it weren't for him, we would be like the ugliest dude in the room or something like that. If it weren't for Mississippi, Arkansas would be the worst state in the country. Statistically, with all these stuff.
Yeah, I guess so.
So I don't know. I've never had a problem with Mississippi, but I do like to play that joke a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately, you got to get on a plane to come there. It's actually a lot further away than you think it is. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's because there's no direct way to get there. You have to go through Pine Bluff, and then you're going through all these side roads.
Of the whole state, you're pretty much in the Ozarks, and I'm over here in central Mississippi, so it's not it's not a across the street type of deal, or I'd be there more often.
Right.
But
I think from our perspective, is you have to deal with the Ole Miss and Mississippi State fan bases.
That is horrible.
Well,
and that's not the only two, because next door over here is LSU, and the other next door neighbor is Alabama. So it's a whole crapshoot, all of them. So yeah, it's going to be nice to get away from those four and get to see us play a bunch of punks too. And they ain't gonna be blowing bubbles at our stadium either. So they ain't been blowing bubbles this year, regardless. So, yeah,
I was about to say,
single-handedly picked that series because of all the crap that they talked physically last year, and now they suck. And then
I cannot believe how how have they gone from the top, the preseason number one. Everything, and I mean, as soon as the season started, they just fell on their face.
It's crazy. They lost a couple really good players the season in the injuries, and anytime you have a new coaching matters so much than people think that it does. When you have a new coach, your whole program can change. That's why I try to tell people, y'all want to complain about coaching, like you want to get rid of hitting coaches and stuff. No. Just make a little tweak. There's no reason to get rid of a coach. When you change the culture and you change the way you do things, it can mess you up. Just tweak things a little bit. That's all you got to do. The culture is not broken. Don't fix it. But that's the whole point of reason why it got on my nerves with Texas A&M talking. Y'all ain't never been good in baseball. Y'all have one good season. Like, you want to start talking crap? What happened now? So here we are.
I was about to say, if the current Texas A&M baseball season continues in the trajectory it's on, would you say their coach is most definitely on a hot seat, potentially not the head coach anymore?
Yeah, you can't.
First year, isn't it?
Yeah, but you see the roster you had, number one preseason. You got you had 3 potential first round picks on your roster, and you're that bad. Yeah, you're on the hot seat for sure. And then he acted a fool like an idiot this past weekend. Looked just even worse. So, yeah, you just can't do that. Both of the Maroon schools in the SEC, their coaches are both on the hot seat.
Well, and you got opposite in the spectrums. You've got one that's very elderly and one that's on the younger side of coaching.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I just I don't know. You just can't have that type of season and just say, "Oh, it's your first year." But I mean, it's hard when you have that talent and you do that bad. I don't know if they'll give him another shot. I mean, if they do, we'll see. But the fans are going to be on him like crazy. And
Well, especially because I think the biggest caveat or reason they decided to go with that hire so they could keep, like you mentioned, those top players that they had, especially Jace Lavalette, who right after Schlossnagel left, put his name in the portal. Then they made that announcement. And he decided he was going to stay.
yeah,
So that was probably factored into it. I would say at least a little bit.
and you had a team that was literally lost by one run to Tennessee in the game-deciding game to win the national championship. So, I mean, they were that close when pretty much brought the same roster that they had last year back, besides Braden Montgomery, which is a huge piece. Don't get me wrong. First-round pick by the White Sox. Their second first-round pick. They picked Hagan first. But
Smart choice.
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, you just when you have a roster like that and you don't even make the postseason, which is their projection right now, I mean, that's I don't know how you can move past it.
I just want to know like how giddy Texas fans are right now. Because Texas, I mean, they're probably, top 5, I would say.
They can be giddy
right
all
now.
they want, but they ain't really played anybody either.
Well, yeah. But they ain't losing to nobody's.
No, but they got somebody this weekend, and they better play their best, or they're gonna get swept.
Who are they playing?
Georgia.
Is it Georgia? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's in Austin, so it should be a good series. So if Arkansas is rained out, that'd be a good one to tune into. But yeah, I mean, that's gonna be a fun series. Texas is good. Don't get me wrong. They're probably a College World Series type of team, but I'm not gonna ever ego Texas up. I care less what they're doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking like from the fan point of view, like, yeah, we stole your coach and now your team just
that's the talk of Twitter. Yeah.
Because I don't get into that sphere. Like I try to stay away from the Longhorns people as much as I can. I have to deal with enough of them at work. So
well, they come to Fayetteville.
Yeah. So. Well, I mean, you got to think about it. Half of those kids that go to the U of A are from Texas. So they're most likely grew up Aggie fans or grew up Texas fans or, Texas Tech fans, something like that. So it's probably pretty easy for Texas to travel up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Pen says, "What's up, my dudes? Glad to see you checking in here." I was just going to look at it with you guys here. We're talking about Texas A&M. The rest of their season schedule is not pretty.
That's what I'm saying. They had their easy part of the schedule
because this weekend they go to Tennessee. They probably get swept.
Probably.
Then they come back home and play South Carolina. Maybe winnable.
Yeah, that's definitely winnable. South Carolina's horrible.
Yeah.
Then they come to Arkansas.
Swept.
And then you come back and then you go from Arkansas to going to Texas.
Bringing a broom up here in a couple of weeks?
Oh, I plan on it. Yeah, absolutely. And I love the fact that it's almost all night games. That is beautiful. You said they go where next?
After us, they go to Texas.
Yeah, that's going to be a crazy series there. Yeah,
and then they come back home and play LSU.
Oh my God, Murderers Row.
And then they get a little break with Missouri, but then they have to wrap up their season at Georgia.
Oh my God! Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're already.
Our schedule was brutal.
They're already 1-8. So with that schedule, you have to at least win 13, 14 SEC games to get in a regional. They may be cooked. I don't see it. I don't know how in the world they can recover from this start. You can't be this bad and you recover like that. My question is, out of all the 1-18 state, South Carolina, Florida, and A&M, like, who recovers and makes a regional? One of them's got to do it at least. So I don't know. I don't know who's got the easiest schedule down the stretch, but
I feel like Florida. I haven't looked at their schedule, but out of the three, I feel like they played the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the mid-season edition of the Field of 64 that D1 Baseball put out?
Yeah, and I always hate these.
You always got to take it with a grain of salt.
I always hate these regional predictions. 4 weeks into conference play, 3 weeks actually. Like, what are we doing? Like, this is like coming out with March Madness predictions in December. This is just not even necessary.
Oh, man, you just gave me a good idea then.
Like, can we have Christmas and New Year's first before we start talking about this nonsense? Like, come on now. Like,
dude, we're adults. We can have Christmas and New Year's whenever we want.
But you're talking about regional
presents.
projections, and we still have 3 times 6, 18 conference games left to play. Like, we ain't even got started yet. And I think one of the projections has Ole Miss as a 2 seed in a regional. Ole Miss is ranked 9th in the country. Why would they be a 2 seed in a regional? See, and you lost me at that point. And another thing is, they want to make these projections. They send the same teams to every regional every year. It's all based on where you're located. So they want to predict all this and that. They're going to send the same teams everywhere. We're going to get Missouri State or whoever, TCU. We're going to get teams that are close to us.
Here's who they projected, and they have Arkansas ranked as the number 2 overall national seed.
Oregon.
No, the number 2 seed in our region, according to this D1 Baseball, is Kansas.
See?
Number 3, Iowa. And the 4 seed, Bowling Green.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Kansas is finally having a decent year in baseball, so they're going to send them to Fayetteville. It's just the way that it works.
I'm fine with beating Jayhawks twice in a year. Basketball and baseball. Yeah. We own the state of Kansas.
Except for Kansas State. And then they have Georgia's the 3rd national seed. Clemson is the 4th national seed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Clemson's playing good.
Yeah.
They're regional. They have that Clemson regional with Clemson, Auburn, USC, and Fordham.
Yeah.
Explain to how this makes sense, Hobbs, as far as the regionality of it. In the Georgia regional, they got Louisville. Okay. They've got Florida A&M. Okay. Hawaii.
Well, Hawaii's got to go somewhere, and they're not really close to anybody. So, I mean,
is there no West Coast schools good enough to host
it's kind of one in Hawaii? There will be. Well, Oregon State's struggling. They lost their series last weekend. Probably the best West Coast team so far is probably UC Irvine.
Send them to Phoenix to the Arizona State regional.
They may not have a regional. Yeah, Oregon State and UC Irvine are the only 2 West Coast teams that are in the top 16 right now. UCLA would be the other. Oregon is on the borderline. So, yeah, and they're always going to have at least 2 West Coast teams host a regional. You can bank on that. It don't matter what they've done in the regular season. They got to get 2. Why? Because they got to send those West Coast teams somewhere. So you're not going to send them across the country. Now, they will randomly do that. I remember they sent Oregon State to LSU one year. That was interesting. But
well, they did send that New Jersey team down here once. I can't remember.
Yeah, NJIT.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, NJIT. That was fun.
Cool.
I still follow like a
Arkansas adopted.
But that's the thing. When you're the number one seed, you can get it doesn't matter. When you're the number one seed, you can throw all the who's close to you out the window. They're going to send the worst of the worst to you. That's the benefit of it. So unfortunately, when we were the number one seed, North Carolina State got hot as fire. And it's unfortunate, but yeah, so. And they still sent Nebraska, which isn't that far away to us when we were number one. It's all regional. I'm predicting right now, which I don't make predictions this early. If Southern Miss will be our
2 seed,
match.
1 and 4 seed.
Oh yeah, the matchup with the regional.
Yeah, I'm predicting that right now. I think it's going to end up being Southern Miss, but I don't think they're going to be in our regional. I think they're going to be our
who we match up with.
Super regional match. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Like you said,
and the reason I say that because they always like to do storylines. If we both win 40 games, which we're on pace to, we'll be the only two schools to win over 40 games the last 8 years. And they pay attention to those storylines when they make these matchups.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a cool one.
Yeah. As long as we beat the brakes off of them, it's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, we need to slow that down. We just got to get through our own.
We got a gauntlet to get through. Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
I'm excited though. It's gonna be fun. Like you said, we're into the 3 weeks into the SEC season. You got a few more series before, like Hobbs said, we start that gauntlet there. So it's gonna be fun. Enjoy this hopefully baseball this weekend. It starts getting a little tough next weekend as we travel to Georgia to take on the Bulldogs, who are hot offensively. Hopefully we can get some.
Your mic's muted.
Yep.
Are you talking?
Huh.
We lost his audio.
Oh, no.
Well, obviously you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Better.
There we go.
There you go.
Jeez, technical difficulties. Anyway, either you guys got anything before we wrap up here?
No. Oh, just I don't know if you guys can go watch the replay or some highlights, but Arkansas's 5-star guys played in the
McDonald's
All-American. Yeah. Both of them did really good in the limited time they got. I'm telling you, Darius Acuff is going to be one of the best passers in the country next year. That dude is very, very good.
Another reason among many why Aduthio needs to come back is for that lob potential between Darius Acuff and him.
They like the no look too. That dude, like, he's got the no look down. Yeah. Yeah.
Good. We need it.
So, as always, we're gonna get ready to wrap up here. We'll keep you guys up to date on potential baseball this weekend. What happens with Arkansas in the transfer portal, and all things going on in Razorback Nation. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the show on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts. We'll be back at you. Sunday show is TBD. We'll let you know what we decide on that. But until we see you next time, everybody have a great weekend. Hopefully it's not too much bad weather, especially here in Arkansas. Tornadoes going through last night. So hopefully things get cleared up that way, and it's not too bad over the weekend, and we can have some Arkansas baseball. But with that, we're going to get out of here, and we'll see you next time.